when is it time to update or evaluate your current software and see that you might need improvements? What are 3 things you think any business owner, small business owner that has software, either out of the box or custom software, should kind of evaluate and look at to see if it's worth updating or adding new features to help their business processes? Are there any common themes that you see?
I think when it comes to software, there's a couple of things that you have to do all the time, or you're going to run into problems, which as things update, you need to stay up with those updates. If you have a mobile app, iOS and Android, they update every year, and your app has to at least go through some sort of cursorial, that's a new word, a check to see, do I still work? Because a lot of times they think, it just works. And when you're thinking about building a modern app, I paid this much for it, that's all I should pay for it. That's not how that works. So that's an easy one. But when it comes to internal software, if it's only your internal team using it, the question becomes, can you still develop on it? A lot of times that software gets so old, we're talking 6+ years. That's a long time in software land. That the number of people you can find to support said stack is going to get harder. If you are on a really old stack, I'd say every 5 years you need to kind of really do a deep dive on what kind of upgrades. They're probably going to be somewhat substantial, but if you don't do them, then you're going to be stuck in a place where a developer could take advantage because they're the only ones who know the product and the only ones who can learn it. That's a horrible place to be in. Or the proverbial bust happens and that developer's gone for some reason, and now you're really holding the bag of some ancient software, and you're going to have to pay out the nose because not many people write that. That happens.
Yeah. And I'm sure a common solution that some of these businesses find for that is just don't fix it if it's not broken. Just patch, and get it working for a little while until we figure something else out, just to keep business going.
Oh, that is very common.
And I'm sure fixing
eventually.
Yeah, the leaks in the wall with duct tape eventually are just going to burst. So what are some common sense ways that they could assess what they need every 5 years?
Eventually you build what I call the Franken beast, which is you build the core thing and you bolt on all these other things and you end up with this wobbly contraption that eventually breaks under its own weight because multiple development teams or whatever have been in there and they don't have a cohesive things. And generally that's not, if you're doing a purely internal app, that's not that big of a deal. As long as it's working, fine. You can stretch that a bit further if it's purely internal. When you're customer facing, that customer is regularly seeing new apps and new websites and new this, that, and the other. And so if yours looks old, it's going to hurt you. So when you are, the natural progression of people who like custom software, and that's a mindset, right? There's when it comes to business owners, there's really 2 types of people that I find. People who like out-of-the-box software and can deal with the shortcomings of that, and because it's not molded to your business, and that's fine. That's a lot of people. And then the people who really like things to be their own, and they're a custom software shop, and they love it. They want their software does what they do. Some of our clients consider it a competitive advantage. That my other, I'm in a competitive industry, and the other guys are buying off the shelf, and I know what those can do, and we're going to build something that's unique to us, and that's going to make us better. That's a common thing.
Yeah.
If you are that custom software kind of guy, which is generally who we're talking about, you'll come to a company like ours and you'll say, hey, I want you to build an app or revamp this app or wherever you are in your life cycle to make my company run. I've got this custom software suite. I need that and I want you to help me build it. Okay, great. We then modernize them. Usually signs of that are data duplication. Your poor back office staff is typing the same thing 3 times. That's a very common way that you need some software.
Yeah, to 3 different sections of the software to just meet 3 different needs.
Or you're running reports in 5 different places because only some of the data is shared with each other. That's another common one. But what you find is the company will come in, the development will happen, everything magically occurs, and you have this great software suite that has made your life easier on the back office. Your back office team is more efficient. They are happier generally because they're doing the stuff they love rather than the rigmarole of typing that same thing in 6 times. But then once we've done that, then almost inevitably, the next phase is, well, the next pain in the butt is communicating and working with our clients. Like right now, I do X, and we email, when we're done with X, we email our clients and say, hey, look, here's what we did. Here's proof. Here's a PDF or whatever. And out of 100 clients, we'll get 20 calls in 6 months of, I lost my email. Can you resend me that? And those kinds of things just eat your back office time again. And so then we build a customer portal, right? And so now we're growing, and that's a very natural flow. But I don't think what you don't want to get stuck in latest and greatest. You don't want to get stuck in bleeding edge. That's an expensive hole. The bang for your buck is really small there.
Right.
It doesn't matter the stack as long as you can find developers. It doesn't matter the language. It doesn't matter the interface even. I mean, as a UX guy, that pains me to say that. But if your team is liking it, then it doesn't matter. Eventually, we're doing this on 2 clients right now. A year ago, Microsoft Azure, which is where a lot of our clients live, have said, hey, this kind of VM, virtual machine, which is a type of server up in the cloud, we are deprecating it. It's going away. We're not supporting it anymore. So you get a year. They give you plenty of time to do this. You have a year to do something different because this is going away. And if you don't have an ongoing relationship with a devs team, that's cold water right in your veins because they're literally turning your server off.
Yeah, I would imagine if you just had your standalone app working for you without an internal team and you're just using contractors here and there, to find someone to be like, hey, I need you to move everything off of this VM or server and find a better place to put it and do it without breaking anything.
Yeah, and don't break it, right? Because this is my business. This is my entire life right here, and please take care of it. So we're doing that right now with 2 of our clients, and it's not a big deal for us. We work and we're in there with them all the time. So it takes time. You have to test the crud out of it because this is production. But that happens. There's nothing you can do about it. AWS does it. Azure does it. They all do it because they're upgrading too, right? They are changing their stuff, and the way that they do VMs now is very different than the way they did them 6 years ago when, in our case, the clients were stood up by another team, not us.
You can always reach us. Hit us up with any questions, comments, or ideas at hello@thebigpixel.net. That's our email. Or you can reach us through any of our social media channels and leave comments on our YouTube videos.